Good evening. My name is Tara Rickaby. I'm Chair of the Kenora Planning Advisory Committee. This is a regular meeting of the Planning Advisory Committee for January the 15th, 2025. As we gather, we recognize we're on Treaty 3 lands, which are steeped in rich Indigenous history and home to many First Nations and Métis people today. We continue to be thankful for the partnerships with the Indigenous people. Prior to calling the meeting to order, to all members of the public, if you're attending virtually, please send a private message to the Secretary Treasurer and inform them of your legal name and your mailing address so it can be entered into the meeting records. For those in attendance in person, please state your name and address before making your remarks. If attending virtually, please ensure your microphone is on mute and be mindful of what is visible to the public in your surroundings. Please note this meeting is being recorded, and by continuing to be in the meeting, you're consenting to be recorded. Tap leave meeting to opt out and exit the session if you're attending virtually. When it's time for public comments, I'll address the participant by the name that was recorded with the Secretary Treasurer, or ask the people in attendance to raise their hand and wait to be acknowledged. Once your name has been called, please then unmute your microphone virtually or your telephone. All comments must be directed through myself, the chair. Decisions will be mailed or emailed to the applicant, agent, and to all other interested parties who have provided their mailing address and or email address to the Secretary Treasurer. The notice of appeal for a minor variance application must be filed with the Secretary Treasurer within 20 days of the making of the decision. The notice of appeal for land division application must be filed with the Secretary Treasurer within 20 days of the mailing of the notice. Other than the applicant, only a specified person or public body as defined in Section 1(1) of the Planning Act has the ability to appeal the decision made by the Kenora Planning Advisory to the Ontario Land Tribunal. The Secretary Treasurer for the Kenora Planning Advisory Committee is Melissa Shaw. Planners are Ryan Haynes and Tara Vader. And the Director of Building and Planning is Janice Bukala, who is joining us virtually this evening. So I just want to call the meeting to order and ask if there's any declaration of pecuniary interest and the general nature of that interest. Today's agenda meeting, you were not an attendance on? No, nothing. Any additions to the agenda? Seeing that. Okay, approval of minutes for November 20th, 2024. Anybody's moved by Robert, seconded by Linda. All in favor? Okay, and that's approved. Any correspondence?
No written report correspondence received.
Okay, and any adjournment request? All right, I'm just going to sign this and we'll carry on. So consideration of minor application for minor variance D13-2501. Are the applicants in attendance virtually?
Seeing them yet.
Sure.
Just give Tara 1 minute.
Okay.
I do not have an email from them. Sure. They are going to be to me.
Okay. Then we'll proceed then with your.
No.
So we'll proceed then with your staff report, Tara, then please.
Yeah. Hi everyone, I'm Tara Vader. I'm the Associate Planner here at the City. This presentation is regarding minor variance application D13-2501. It pertains to the lands located at 1002 3rd Avenue South. The owner is a numbered company and the applicant is Tyler White. Purpose of this application is to permit a 1.5 meter interior side yard for a 2-story dwelling Our zoning bylaw, section 4.1.3D requires a 2.5 meter interior side yard for a 2-story dwelling. So this application is seeking relief of 1 meter. So this is the site plan provided by the applicants. We did have it overlaid over the GIS, so we can see the property is located at the corner of 3rd Ave South and Lakeside Crescent. So the side yard that we're speaking about is the south side yard at the not abutting Lakeside Crescent. This is an elevation drawing provided by the applicants. This is the elevation drawing facing north. So this would be from the side yard they are seeking relief from. City staff had no concerns with this application. Synergy North indicated no concerns. No further comments were received from any other agencies on this application. At the time of my reports being submitted, no comments were received from members of the public. Review, when we consider a minor variance, we first consider the PPS, the provincial planning statement. The PPS is supportive of new housing and the construction of new homes. Section 2.2 of the PPS, housing, states that planning authorities shall provide for an appropriate range and mix of housing options and densities to meet the projected needs of current and future residents of the area, and to do so by permitting and facilitating all housing options required to meet the social, health, economic, and well-being requirements of current and future residents. As this application is proposing to enable a new single-family dwelling to be constructed, this application does comply with the housing section of the provincial policies or provincial planning statement, and this application is supported by these policies in our PPS. The next thing we weigh when we consider a minor variance is the 4 tests of a minor variance. First, the intent of the City of Kenora official plan. Our official plan, section 2.2.1, contains objectives for sustainable development. This is a principle of our OP. The OP states to support infill intensification where services exist. This is an existing lot that is serviced by municipal water and sewer. So this application is proposed to develop an existing infill lot on services. So it does maintain the intent of the OP regarding sustainable development. The OP also contains policies for the established area designation that states that residential development shall be encouraged through plans of subdivision, condominium, and consent as infilling or redevelopment of existing uses on full municipal services. So again, this application is consistent with this policy. The next test is the intent of the City of Kenora zoning bylaw. So the City of Kenora zoning bylaw contains specific provisions for the R1 residential first density zone. That's what this property is zoned. This zone allows for the development of single detached housing and other compatible uses serviced by municipal water and sewer. This application is specifically seeking to permit a 2-story dwelling with a 1.5 meter interior side yard setback. So the total relief they are seeking is 1 meter. The applicants have indicated that the water table is high on the subject property, leading them to be unable to go further, to dig further below grade. So the reduction of 1 meter from the side yard setback to 1.5 meters does maintain the intent of the zoning bylaw. It maintains a setback from the property line, which is the intent of a side yard setback. So as the proposed development is for a single detached dwelling, which is a permitted use in this zone, and maintains a 1.5 meter setback, it does maintain the intent of the zoning bylaw. The third test is it desirable for the appropriate development of the land. This proposed variance will enable the construction of a 2-story single detached dwelling on a currently vacant residential property. This is a permitted use and it is desirable to see vacant land developed. The final test of a minor variance is the variance they are seeking minor in nature. The requested relief is, again, to permit a two-story dwelling with a 1.5 meter side yard setback. Proposed variance is not expected to have a significant impact on the surrounding area, nor is it expected to impact the ability of adjacent property owners to utilize their properties for permitted uses. So the variance is considered minor. The recommendation, as a result of all that I just discussed, it is recommended that minor variance application D132501 to seek relief from City of Kenora Bylaw 101/2015, Section 4.1.3D be approved to permit an interior side yard setback of 1.5 meters, subject to the following conditions. First, that the variance shall only apply to the proposed single detached dwelling. And second, that the proposed dwelling be constructed in general conformity with the sketch and elevation drawings submitted with this application. And that's it.
Okay, thank you. Can you check to see whether or not the applicants are here now? Please.
No, they're not present.
Okay. So we do have some members of the public here this evening, and is there anybody who wishes to speak to this application? Any questions?
I just want to know what's this sort of. It's not this a variance to this property line is that's fine with me. It doesn't have anything to do with me. I just want to make sure that my house that I'm living in right now stays the way it is. If this new owner of this property is like, I don't know what his plans are for a basement or a footing or for anything like that. I'm just curious of what he's going to do, what his plans are to do.
So could you just clarify? I think you mentioned that the water table is fairly high on that property. Do you know what they were looking at doing for a foundation?
I am not sure what their plans were for the foundation. I can speak to how we determine it's a two-story dwelling. So we have a calculation under the Ontario Building Code that determines how much of your ceiling is above grade. So the reason it's considered a two-story is because they feel that they cannot dig very low. So that would lead me to believe they aren't doing significant excavation on the property.
Yes, the water table's high because of some more work the city is supposed to be doing in that end of town that never got dealt with last summer, which we remediate a lot of that.
There's a lot of soil on that over there, on that corner.
Yeah, it's swampy. Water table's high because the storm drain is not draining.
So I just want to get, what were you showing? Were you just showing them?
I just pulled it up on the
Okay,
screen.
good. So just for the minutes, the Secretary Treasurer was showing that drawing then to, that is correct, yeah.
Is the main floor elevation noted on the drawing? Because we had conditions on those blocks for what the main floor elevation had to be in relation to the street.
So it's since.
I think it's 3 or 4 feet above the street.
That house is gonna be right on the street.
So they would still have to maintain the front yard setback, correct?
Yes, they do need to maintain. So this is the proposed site plan. So this line right here is the required front yard setback, which is 7.5 meters from their property line.
So 25 feet, right?
I'm not sure if they.
Sorry to interrupt, Madam Chair, through you. May I just show the screen to my screen to the members of the public?
Yeah.
Right.
On,
The site plan.
so this is Third Ave right here.
Oh, yeah, Third Avenue.
Yeah.
So Madam Chair, through you, I'm just going to show them the stamp drawing that Ms. Shader had up showing on the screen as well, so you can scan. Like,
I just been talking with, of course, this guy. And, how you doing?
Good, how's everybody here?
Okay, so Mr. Richards, I'll just let you know that right now we have heard the staff report. And we're just fielding questions now from the public. So if you have anything, if you could just give the secretary treasurer your name and address, that would be great. And if you have any comments or questions, then you can just.
Thank you.
Sarah, are you able to confirm the question?
It's the only question I have, just referring to the lot side that we still own, so is this variance, do you have any implications on that or future development on that lot that's beside it?
So do you want to just answer that question, Tara?
Yeah, so there would be no impact on you, on the property owner, being able to utilize your lot for permitted uses. So you yourself could build a dwelling, any of the permitted uses in your zoning. I would guess it's also zone R1. So you could have up to 3 units on that property if you would like.
And can a variance ever go against another variance? Probably not worth it.
You
Potentially,
could,
we could apply for the same variance in the future to allow us more room. Those lots are narrow, that's part of the. They're
Yeah.
150 foot wide, 174 deep. They're very deep, but they're narrow. It's
Yeah.
hard to put a 2-story building on a. On that lot with
Absolutely.
that. So a variance could be applied for in the future to go against the other existing one that may be approved.
absolutely, you would be within your rights to apply for any minor variance on your property. You can seek relief from any section of the zoning bylaw. That's not a guarantee that any variance you seek would be approved, but you would absolutely, there wouldn't be any issues with you seeking the same variance or a different variance for your property.
Yeah, one more regarding this house there. How wide is that house?
Sorry, one moment. Oh, I believe the applicants have arrived.
So the applicants, just so you know, just arrived virtually. They haven't heard any of the staff report or the questions. All right, so they are here then. The whites are, all right.
Through you, Madam Chair, can I answer the question about the width of the house?
Yes.
Based on the site plan provided, it looks like the house is just shy, and our site plans are required to be in meters, so I'm gonna have to provide it to you in meters. Is just shy of 9.74 meters. Width.
7 feet there, dear.
30.
Thank you. I'm so sorry, I did not have.
30, 40,
30. I was gonna say that, 30.
Okay, so do we have both Haley and Tyler here?
Yeah.
Okay, so hi, I'm Tara, chair of the committee. I just want to kind of bring you up to speed here. We have heard the staff report. There have been several questions now. We're at the point where we're asking the public if they have any comments or questions. So there have been questions. One which you may be able to answer right off the cuff is whether or not blasting is going to be a requirement for your build.
No.
Okay, thank you. And another one that was asked by the public is, what is the elevation from the road?
We'd have to shoot it. We can't, the water table's high, so we're trying to keep it as flush with the road as possible. But we don't know the exact elevation. We haven't shot elevations yet.
Okay, thank you. Does anybody else have any questions which we can?
I just like those lots, like there's a spec that Marco has put in there for what main flare elevation have to be above the street,
Okay,
minimum, like either 3 or 4 feet.
okay. So, and you are not the seller? Is that correct?
No,
Okay.
no.
So maybe that's something that, will be put in the minutes so that that can be considered. All right, so do you have any comments or, questions for the committee? At all?
No. We do not.
All right. So does anybody else have any comments or questions before the committee discusses? No? All right. So any comments or questions from the committee? All right, would you mind
I
reading?
just have
Oh,
one.
sorry, yes.
Notice that there's like 4 meters on the north side
Mhm.
and asking for variance on the south side. If we shifted the house by 1 meter, wouldn't that eliminate the need for a variance? And
Okay.
it would also give more space between the existing dwelling and this one.
So can you answer that?
Yeah, so the north side yard, it is the exterior side yard, so it abuts Lakeside Crescent. So we have a different zoning requirement to allow sight lines for corners. So the requirement for the exterior side yard is 4 meters. So that's why they're seeking the 1 meter from the south side yard.
So I didn't have a chance to do a drive-by, but the next lot over is still vacant. There's no structure, no nothing. Okay.
Anybody else? Okay, would you mind reading the decision? I think there's just a change. We've added the south side yard, right, as a qualifier.
Yes, yeah, yes, that is correct. So the decision being that the Planning Advisory Committee approves application D13-2501 to seek relief from the City of Kenora zoning bylaw 101-2015, section 4.13D. Be approved to permit an interior south side yard setback of 1.5 meters and subject to the following conditions. 1, the variance shall only apply to the proposed single detached dwelling. 2, the proposed dwelling be constructed in general conformity with the sketch and elevation drawings submitted with the application.
Any discussion? May I have a mover, please? Okay, Carrot Funk and a seconder, please. Chris Price, all in favor? Okay, so that's approved.
Well, that is a carried vote. You have received an approval here this evening to the Whites. It will be subject to a 20-day appeal period. There are limitations to that appeal, and that will be outlined in the notice of decision, which I will also circulate to all these members of the community who are here with us this evening. And the appeal deadline is Tuesday, February 4th. So we will still be able to work with our city planning and building staff to work towards any permitting or approvals you require, but we will not be able to issue a permit until after that date.
Okay.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks for having us. And memos.
So they have received their approval here this evening. As I had mentioned, I will circulate a notice of this decision to all of you. So if I could just circulate a piece of paper and see your email, I do have a few of yours, but oh,
So, there are no considerations for applications for land division. No recommendations to council for amendments, no old business. New business is election of chair and election of vice chair. So I'll turn the meeting over to, Melissa.
certainly. To the members of the public who are here, we're just proceeding with an administrative process whereby we elect a chair and vice chair. You are welcome to stay. Otherwise, if you would like, you're free to leave as well. Start the introductory meeting. Just let them make it if you choose.
Everybody?
Thank you.
Sorry for the box.
Where it
Or meetings.
in the back of our heads.
See, meetings about these boat ramps, we gotta put a. But you guys?
No, that's completely different.
Meeting. Oh, okay, I missed it. What's going on there, bud?
Just trying to scribble my name down here.
Did
Did I do it budget?
did you have something before you came?
Starboard, you kidding me? Look at that.
How are you, girl?
Thank you.
Okay, back to new business. So, administrative procedure we do every January. It is the election of chair and vice chair. So everyone may be familiar with the process. If you would like, I can read out what the duties of the chair and vice chair are. I will then ask for nominations. Everyone is eligible to be nominated as a chair or vice chair. If someone is nominated, I will ask if they accept that nomination. If we have more than one nomination, we will go into a voting process. So each of you do have blank ballot forms in front of you. We will be collecting them in a very professional double bubble container, and I will be asking lovely Associate Planner Chair Vader to read out the record of that vote, the record of that vote. So I will start with the election of chair. Would you like me to read out what the duties are? Is everyone quite familiar with the role that that person plays on this committee? Yes, okay, great. So I will ask for nominations for the position of chair for the Planning Advisory Committee for the year of 2025.
I would nominate Eric Rigby.
Thank you. Tara, do you accept that nomination? Thank you. Okay. Linda Mitchell would like to second that nomination. Okay. I will again ask for any nominations for the position of chair for the Planning Advisory Committee for the year of 2025. And finally, I'll ask for a third and final time if there are any other nominations for chair of the Planning Advisory Committee for 2025. Having seen that Tara has accepted that nomination, may I have everyone raise their hand and vote? Thank you. That is a carried vote. Tara, thank you again for
Thank you, Bev.
providing
Thank you.
your
I will.
Yes, in 2024, we look forward to having you.
Don't nominate me, please.
Very similar process for the position of vice chair. Again, if you would like, I can read the duties of vice chair. Otherwise, I will ask for any nominations around the table.
I'd like just to hear the duties of vice chair.
So vice chair, I'm reading out the position of chair, but
Okay.
when the chair is
Responsible.
present, yes, they are
Okay, thank you.
responsible for taking that position. Can I ask for nominations for the position of vice chair? Yes,
I'd
Renee.
like to nominate Robert.
Robert Bowman,
Second.
you second that. Would you like to accept that nomination, Mr. Bowman?
This election's rigged.
All right, again, may I seek any nominations for the position of vice chair, Planning Advisory Committee for the 2025 year? And third and final time, are there any other nominations around the table? No. May I have a raise of hands to vote in favor? Thank you all. And once again, thank you for taking on that position with us for 2025. We appreciate everything all of you do to support this committee. And with that, our elections for 2025 are wrapped up.
So this doesn't have to be for the minutes, but I have a question.
Would you
When I
like-
was driving around a couple of times there, because I had a lot to do with moving that old Shelley Lane. So there is Mr. Stevenson still leasing that piece of property that's beside Dufrane's? Yeah.
Janice, would you like me to refer that to you for comment? Oh, you
Mr.
can't.
Mr. Stevenson is still currently occupying that site.
Okay, I just wondered, because at one point in time, like many moons ago, there was some consideration given to not making that a commercial area anymore and just allowing the people in that subdivision access to the lake. So I just wondered.
The gate has been removed and there is public access to, there is nothing stopping the public from accessing it, but he has not left.
All right, that says a lot. Thank you. Sorry I asked. But it was just something that I noticed and I just wondered about. So thank you again. And I do want to thank staff too for all the support that you give me and therefore the rest of the committee. So thanks, everybody. All right, sorry,
I have one more thing concerning elections.
okay.
Is it possible in this committee, not at this time, but the process for updating our terms of reference with respect to what happens when a chair and a vice chair aren't able?
Yeah.
We've been asking for volunteers, which I find okay. The part I don't find okay is that we don't vote on it. There's nothing stating that that has to happen. That's my only concern.
So
I think we briefly talked when I first came on board about this. Again, the possibility of having members of this committee who for some reason have a power trip or something, and then that volunteering process leading to something that may be negative down the road. So if there's a way to update the terms of reference to basically do what we're doing is.
What's going on here? I understand here.
Oh, okay,
Sorry,
so.
It's involved with.
Yeah, when I came on board, a bit ago in November, there was a time when Tara and Robert, I remember specifically, but again, they couldn't participate in their roles as chair and vice chair
At the same time.
at the same time. And the secretary at the time reached out to Heather. Heather said, we have to have a volunteer because that's what she decided, what she's allowed to do, from what I understand from talking with Kyle, CAO. But again, I'm not comfortable with that because we don't vote on it. I still like that process of us coming together to say, yes, this is a person.
So you'd want to see a third option.
A third option saying, yes, okay, I'm okay with a volunteer, but the same thing we did with, what was it, our November or September meeting? Was it November? Where again, the volunteer was fine. We all just raised our hand, everybody okay with this?
Right.
And we just went on. Keep it simple. But again, I just feel that we need to vote on it. Still like that in there.
Yeah, we can make a note of that. We are reviewing the terms of reference, so Janice is working closely on that file, and we will make a note and have something drafted in there.
Yeah, just because at the time, there was a lot of confusion around that.
No, it's a good
Again.
procedural,
It felt wrong to remove a democratic process from a committee as a first option. That was my primary concern.
thank you for that.
Completely disagree with it.
Any other comments or questions?
When would our next meeting be if it's required? February what?
That is a great question. So we have not received a complete application for the February meeting, but that's not to say we may not choose to go in close and look at it as an opportunity for training and education. So we will let you know as soon as we're aware. Is that true, Tara? How we will be handling?
There will be a city application
Oh, okay.
to address accessible parking in our zoning bylaw. So it will come to the February meeting.
So I misspoke. We will have a February meeting.
I can tell you the date.
I will. Secretary, I'm absent from the 15th till the 3rd of March.
Okay, so for the minutes, we have 2 members who have declared absence at the February 19th meeting. Member Bowman and Member Mitchell.
Want to be away that time of year, but I'm not this year. Like spending my birthday in Canada.
Oh.
This year it's gonna.
Okay, so, adjournment, please.
I so move.
Okay, Chris? Yeah, and all in favor? Okay, so we need to